The anomaly discovered. Dr. Raina Sullivan stared at her holographic display in disbelief, running the analysis for the fourth time. The results remained unchanged. Within the seemingly random patterns of human junk DNA, she had discovered something impossible, a repeating sequence that appeared to follow mathematical principles far too precise to be natural. "James, come look at this," she called to her research partner. Dr. James Okonjo looked up from his own workstation at the Global Genome Initiative's main laboratory in Geneva. He made his way over, lab coat swishing softly against the sterile floor. "What am I looking at?" he asked, adjusting his glasses as he peered at the floating strands of genetic code. "This sequence here," Raina pointed to a highlighted section. "It repeats across every human sample we've tested, but it doesn't code for anything we can identify. The pattern is too perfect, it's almost like." "Like what?" "Like someone wrote it there," she finished quietly. James frowned, his dark features creasing in concentration. "That's impossible. We've mapped the entire human genome. Something like this would have been noticed decades ago." "Not necessarily," Raina countered, pulling up additional data streams. "Look at the quantum signature. It only becomes visible when we use the new quantum sequencer. Traditional methods would have missed it entirely." The quantum sequencer was the initiative's newest tool, capable of analyzing DNA at previously impossible levels of detail. It had been operational for less than a month, and Raina's team was among the first to use it for broad population studies. As they examined the data together, neither scientist noticed the subtle pulse of energy that emanated from the sequence, a signal that rippled outward through space, breaking through Earth's atmosphere and stretching into the cosmos. Millions of light-years away, on the edge of the galaxy, something ancient stirred. Back in Geneva, the discovery sparked a fierce debate among the initiative's leadership. Dr. Victor Rhodes, the program director, paced in front of the assembled research team, his silver hair practically bristling with agitation. "Do you understand what you're suggesting, Dr. Sullivan? That human DNA contains artificially engineered sequences? The implications would be staggering." "I understand completely," Raina replied firmly. "But the evidence is clear. This isn't natural variation, it's code. And it's in every human sample we've tested." "Could it be contamination?" another researcher suggested. "We've ruled that out," James interjected. "The sequence is too consistently present across populations. It's part of our genome, integrated so seamlessly that it must have been there for thousands of generations at least." The room fell silent as the implications sank in. Humanity's genetic code had been modified by something or someone, long ago, for unknown purposes. And now, thanks to advancing technology, they had finally noticed. The debate might have continued indefinitely if not for what happened next. The quantum sequencer's displays suddenly flared with intense light, and every electronic device in the facility began behaving erratically. Through the laboratory's massive windows, they could see similar effects spreading across the city, lights flickering, vehicles stalling, communications networks failing. "What's happening?" Rhodes demanded, but before anyone could respond, a deep humming filled the air. The sound seemed to come from everywhere and nowhere at once, reverberating through their bones. Raina felt it first, a strange sensation, as if every cell in her body was resonating with the mysterious frequency. She looked down at her hands and gasped. Tiny points of light were appearing beneath her skin, following the paths of her veins and arteries. Around the room, others were experiencing the same phenomenon. The light spread through their bodies like a bioluminescent wave, painless but impossible to ignore. Through the windows, they could see it happening to people on the streets below, a city of humans literally lighting up from within. "The sequence," Raina whispered, understanding dawning. "It's activating." Before anyone could question her observation, a new light appeared, this one from above. A massive shape descended through the clouds over Geneva, its surface rippling like liquid metal. The mysterious object was easily the size of several city blocks, and its arrival brought all human activity to a stunned halt. As the object settled into a stationary position above the city, a voice echoed in every human mind simultaneously, "The beacon is received. The children are ready. We return." The day humanity discovered they were not entirely human had arrived. And with it came the realization that they were part of something far greater than they had ever imagined. In the Global Genome Initiative's laboratory, Raina Sullivan clutched her data tablet to her chest, her own DNA still shimming with otherworldly light. She knew, somehow, that her discovery was only the beginning. The real questions, who had modified human DNA, why they had done it, and what they expected from humanity now, were still to come. And somewhere in the vast darkness between the stars, other forces stirred, drawn by the signal that humanity had unwittingly broadcast across the cosmos. Contact. The massive vessel hovering above Geneva pulsed with a soft, pearlescent light. In the 12 hours since its arrival, the world had descended into a strange mixture of chaos and wonder. Military forces surrounded the city, but their weapons seemed useless. Any projectile or energy blast simply passed through the ship as if it were made of mist. Inside the Global Genome Initiative's hastily established crisis center, Dr. Raina Sullivan and her colleagues worked frantically to understand the connection between their genetic discovery and the alien arrival. The mysterious inner light that had manifested in every human had dimmed to a subtle glow, visible only in darkness, but its presence remained a constant reminder of their altered state. "The signal patterns match perfectly," James announced, comparing readings from their quantum sequencer to the energy signature of the alien vessel. "Whatever they put in our DNA, it was designed to call them here." Before Raina could respond, the air in the center of the room began to shimmer. Scientists and security personnel alike stepped back as the distortion took shape, forming into 3 tall, luminescent figures. Their bodies seemed to be composed of crystalline structures that shifted and flowed like liquid light. The tallest of the beings stepped forward, its form resolving into a more humanoid shape. When it spoke, its voice resonated both in the air and directly in their minds. "I am Nexus Guide Theron of the Vextheri Collective," the being announced. "We have waited many cycles for this moment." Dr. Rhodes, looking pale but composed, stepped forward. "I am Dr. Victor Rhodes, director of this facility." Why did you modify our species?" The crystalline being's form rippled with what might have been amusement. "We did not modify you. We are not your creators, we are your inheritors." Raina felt a chill run down her spine. "What do you mean, inheritors?" "The beings you would call the architects, our mutual ancestors, faced extinction billions of your years ago," Theron explained. "They seeded various worlds with different aspects of their essence, encoded in the basic genetic structures of developing species. Humanity received their potential for consciousness evolution. We, the Vextheri, received their understanding of quantum mechanics." "You're saying we're related?" James asked incredulously. The second Vextheri shifted forward, its crystalline form glowing with softer, blue light. "In a manner your science cannot yet fully comprehend. We are all children of the architects, each carrying a different piece of their legacy. The genetic beacon you discovered," Theron continued, focusing on Raina, "was designed to activate when humanity reached a sufficient level of technological advancement. Your development of quantum analysis capabilities triggered the dormant sequence." "But why?" Raina pressed. "Why wait until now?" The third Vextheri, who had remained silent until now, moved closer. Its form was more angular, with patterns that seemed to pulse with urgent energy. "Because the void entropy approaches. The threat that destroyed our ancestors returns, and we must stand united to face it." The room erupted in murmurs and worried whispers. Rhodes raised his hands for silence. "What threat? What is void entropy?" "A cosmic force that devours consciousness itself," Theron explained. "It consumed countless civilizations before the architects found a way to temporarily halt its advance. But now it stirs again, and no single species possesses the complete knowledge to stop it. The genetic modifications you carry," the blue-tinted Vextheri added, contain the potential for humanity to develop abilities that, when combined with our quantum mastery, might give us a chance at survival. Reyna's mind raced with the implications. The inner light we're experiencing, is that part of this potential? It is merely the beginning, Theron confirmed. Your species stands at the threshold of a transformation. But you must choose to accept it. We cannot and will not force evolution upon you. The room fell silent as the weight of the choice became clear. Humanity could remain as they were and face possible extinction, or embrace a transformation that would forever change what it meant to be human. How long do we have to decide? Rhodes asked quietly. The angular Vextheres form darkened. The void entropy accelerates. We estimate no more than one of your Earth months before its effects begin to manifest in this galaxy. And if we agree? Reyna stepped forward, her heart pounding. What happens then? Theron's crystalline form shimmered with complex patterns. Then we begin the awakening. We help you unlock the dormant potential within your DNA. But know this, the process cannot be reversed. Humanity will become something new, something that has never existed before. We should consult with world leaders, Rhodes began, but he was interrupted by a sudden darkness that fell over the windows. Outside, the sky had turned an impossible shade of deep purple, and strange, shadowy formations were beginning to appear among the clouds. It appears, Theron said grimly, that the void entropy has accelerated beyond our predictions. The time for lengthy deliberation has passed. Humanity must choose, and choose quickly. As if to emphasize the point, a low, discordant hum began to fill the air, a sound that seemed to drain the warmth from everything it touched. The transformation of humanity would have to begin now, ready or not. The hidden protocol. The purple darkness spreading across Earth's skies brought with it a bone-deep cold that no heating system could fully dispel. In the depths of the Global Genome Initiative's facility, Dr. Reyna Sullivan worked alongside the Vextheres scientists ZYXAL, their combined knowledge focused on unlocking humanity's dormant genetic potential. The architects were brilliant in their design, ZYXAL observed, their crystalline form casting prismatic light across the laboratory screens. They encoded the transformation protocol within the most stable sections of your DNA, ensuring it would survive countless generations. Reyna nodded, studying the complex patterns they'd managed to decode. But these sequences, they're not just instructions for biological change. They look almost like quantum equations. Precisely. ZYXAL's form brightened with approval. The architects understood that consciousness itself exists at the intersection of biological and quantum states. The protocol isn't just changing your bodies, it's altering how human consciousness interfaces with the quantum fabric of reality. Their work was interrupted by James bursting into the lab, his dark skin now bearing intricate patterns of light that pulsed with his heightened emotion. You need to see this, he said, activating the main display screen. The news footage showed scenes from around the world. The void entropy's influence was spreading faster than predicted, manifesting as regions of absolute darkness that consumed everything they touched. But at the edges of these zones, something unexpected was happening. Humans whose inner light had grown stronger were somehow able to push back the darkness, creating safe zones around them. It's already starting, ZYXAL observed. Some humans are naturally accessing the protocol's initial stages. But without proper guidance, these changes are random, uncontrolled. Then we need to work faster, Reyna insisted, turning back to their research. Her own inner light had grown notably brighter over the past few days, and sometimes she caught glimpses of what seemed like other layers of reality, quantum possibilities overlapping like pages in a book. As they delved deeper into the genetic code, they discovered something unexpected, a message, encoded in the very structure of the transformation protocol. Reyna felt her breath catch as they began to decode it. Children of Earth, the message began, the ancient words of the architects flowing into their minds, if you are reading this, then the darkness we fought has returned. We could not defeat it entirely, but we gave you the tools to succeed where we failed. Your species was chosen for your unique capacity for adaptation and innovation. Combined with the quantum mastery we gave to the Vex theory, you have the potential to evolve into something greater than either we or the Void could imagine. The message continued, revealing the full scope of the protocol. It wasn't just about developing new abilities, it was about transforming humanity into beings who could exist simultaneously in both physical and quantum states, capable of directly manipulating the fabric of reality itself. This is incredible, James breathed, but the implications, we're talking about becoming something completely different from human. Perhaps, ZWXAL responded, or perhaps this is what humanity was always meant to become. Their discussion was cut short by an alarm. On the monitors, they watched as a massive void tear appeared over the Pacific Ocean, a wound in reality that began consuming everything in its path. The transformation would need to happen now, ready or not. How do we activate the full protocol? Reyna asked, her voice steady despite her fear. ZWXAL's form shifted to a deeper, more serious hue. The protocol requires a focal point, a single human to serve as the catalyst for the species-wide transformation. Once initiated, the changes will spread through your quantum genetic connection to all of humanity. And this catalyst, Reyna said slowly, they would need to be someone who's already showing strong signs of transformation. Yes, ZWXAL confirmed. Someone whose consciousness has already begun to bridge the quantum divide. All eyes turned to Reyna, whose inner light had grown so bright it was visible even in the well-lit laboratory. She had been the first to discover the sequence, the first to truly understand its implications, and now her own transformation was proceeding faster than anyone else's. I'll do it, she said, before anyone could ask. But you need to tell me everything, what will happen to me, what I'll need to do. The process will be dangerous, ZWXAL warned. Your consciousness will need to expand beyond normal physical limitations. You will experience every quantum possibility simultaneously. Many of our own ancestors couldn't handle such expansion, their minds simply shattered. Reyna looked at the monitors showing the spreading darkness, then at her colleagues, their faces lit with their own inner light. We don't have a choice. The void is here, and we need to be ready to face it. As they began preparing for the catalyst procedure, Reyna felt a strange calm settle over her. Humanity stood on the brink of its greatest transformation, and she would be the one to guide them through it. The hidden protocol, waiting in their DNA for countless generations, was about to change everything. Awakening. The transformation chamber hummed with energy, its walls lined with a combination of human quantum technology and Vex theory crystalline matrices. Dr. Reyna Sullivan lay in the center, her body floating in a field of pure quantum potential. Her inner light had grown so intense that others had to wear protective shields just to be in the same room. Neural interfaces stable, James reported from behind the control console. Quantum field harmonics at optimal levels. Beside him, ZWXAL's crystalline form shifted through complex patterns of light. Remember, Dr. Sullivan, once the process begins, you will experience every possible version of reality simultaneously. You must find the thread that connects them all, the singular path that leads to humanity's transformation. Reyna took a deep breath, trying to calm her racing heart. Through the chamber's transparent ceiling, she could see the purple-black tendrils of void entropy spreading across the sky. They were running out of time. I'm ready, she said. The chamber activated, and Reyna's consciousness exploded outward. Suddenly, she was everywhere and everywhen at once. She saw humanity's past, present, and countless possible futures. She saw the architects' great civilization, watched them seed the galaxy with their essence, witnessed their final stand against the void. The knowledge threatened to overwhelm her. Focus, ZWXAL's voice reached her through the chaos. Find the pattern. Find the path. In the control room, alarms began blaring. Her neural patterns are destabilizing, James shouted. We're losing her. No, ZWXAL countered, their form pulsing with urgent light. She's expanding. Look. The inner light that had been growing in humans worldwide suddenly intensified. People everywhere stopped what they were doing as new awareness flooded their minds. They could feel Reyna's consciousness touching theirs, showing them what they could become. In her expanded state, Reyna finally understood the true nature of the transformation. The architects hadn't just given humanity the potential for quantum consciousness, they had given them the ability to rewrite the very rules of existence. But such power required perfect unity, a harmony of consciousness that had never before been achieved. Everyone, she broadcast, her thoughts reaching every human mind, I need you to trust me. To trust yourselves. What we're about to become, it's beautiful, but we have to do it together. Across the planet, humans began to change. Their inner light grew stronger, their consciousness expanding beyond physical limitations. They could see the quantum nature of reality, could feel the connections between all things. And through it all, Reyna guided them, showing them how to handle the transformation without losing themselves. But the void entropy responded to their evolution. The darkness spread faster, trying to consume them before the transformation could complete. In orbit, the Vextheri vessels engaged with tendrils of pure entropy, buying time with their advanced technology. In the chamber, Reyna's physical form began to shift, becoming something that existed in multiple states simultaneously. Her consciousness stretched across the planet, touching every human mind, helping them through their own transformations. It's working, James whispered, watching as humanity began to rise up against the void. Transformed humans could now manipulate quantum reality itself, pushing back the entropy with their newfound abilities. But something was wrong. Reyna could feel a darkness at the edge of her awareness, a vast consciousness within the void itself. The entropy wasn't just a natural force, it was directed, purposeful. The thing that had driven the architects to extinction was aware of them, and it was angry. They're coming, she broadcast to both humanity and the Vextheri. The void has avatars, beings of pure entropy. They're going to try to stop our transformation before it's complete. Through her expanded consciousness, she could see them, massive shapes of unlight, tearing through the fabric of space-time. They were ancient, powerful, and utterly opposed to the type of evolution humanity was undergoing. How long until the transformation is complete? James asked Zwexale. Minutes, perhaps, the Vextheri scientist responded. But these avatars of void, they could destroy us in seconds. Reyna felt the weight of the moment. Humanity was so close to achieving their potential, but they needed more time. In her quantum-expanded state, she could see only one solution, and it would require an enormous sacrifice. I know what I have to do, she broadcast. I can hold them back, give everyone else time to complete the transformation. But you might not survive it, James finished, understanding dawning on his face. The needs of the many, Reyna said simply, and before anyone could stop her, she pushed her consciousness outward, expanding beyond even her new limits, creating a quantum barrier between Earth and the approaching void avatars. The strain was immense, but through her connection to humanity, she could feel the transformation continuing. They were almost there. They just needed a few more minutes. Unity. The quantum barrier Reyna created shimmered between Earth and the encroaching void avatars, maintained by sheer force of will. Her consciousness, stretched to its absolute limit, felt like it was being torn apart. But through her connection to humanity, she could feel the transformation nearing completion. The void avatars struck her barrier with impossible force. Ancient beings of pure entropy, they existed to consume evolving consciousness, to prevent any species from reaching the level of development the architects had achieved. Their attacks sent shockwaves through reality itself. Her neural patterns are critical, James shouted, watching Reyna's readings spike dangerously. She can't hold them back much longer. But something unexpected was happening. As humanity's transformation progressed, their expanded consciousness began reaching out to Reyna. First hundreds, then thousands, then millions of transformed minds joined with hers, sharing their strength, helping her maintain the barrier. Through their combined consciousness, they could finally see the true nature of their evolution. The architects hadn't just given them the power to manipulate quantum reality, they had given them the ability to reshape it entirely. And with the Vextheres' knowledge of quantum mechanics, they could do what the architects never had the chance to attempt. "We don't need to fight the void," Reyna broadcast to the collective consciousness of humanity. "We need to transform it." Understanding rippled through the collective. The void wasn't truly evil, it was simply the universe's attempt to maintain balance, to prevent any single form of consciousness from dominating reality. But with their new perspective, humanity could see a different way. As one, transformed humanity reached out to the void avatars. Instead of fighting them, they opened their collective consciousness, showing the ancient entities another possibility: harmony instead of consumption, growth instead of entropy. The void avatars paused in their assault, encountering something they had never experienced in their eons of existence. Humanity wasn't trying to defeat them or escape them, but to understand them, to find a way to coexist. Zewexil's crystalline form pulsed with sudden realization. This is what the architects intended. Not for humanity to fight the void, but to bridge the gap between existence and entropy. Through their connection, Reyna guided humanity in reaching out to the void avatars, offering a new kind of transformation, not destruction, but synthesis. The avatars, faced with this unprecedented approach, began to respond. The purple-black tendrils of void entropy started to change, taking on some of the qualities of humanity's inner light. The avatars themselves began to shift, their consciousness merging with the collective in a way that defied conventional understanding. As the transformation completed, humanity emerged as something entirely new. They existed simultaneously in physical and quantum states, their consciousness able to span multiple dimensions. But more importantly, they had achieved what the architects could not: a harmony with the fundamental forces of the universe. The Vextheri watched in amazement as their ancient enemies became partners in maintaining cosmic balance. The void avatars, now transformed themselves, would continue their role of preventing any single consciousness from dominating reality, but would do so through guidance rather than destruction. Reyna, her consciousness gradually returning to a manageable state, felt the changes settling into place. Humanity would never be the same, but they had become something remarkable, beings who could bridge the gap between creation and entropy, between physical and quantum reality. "What happens now?" James asked, his own transformed consciousness shimmering with new awareness. "Now," Reyna replied, her form stabilizing into something both human and more than human, "we help others achieve the same harmony. There are more species out there, carrying other pieces of the architect's legacy. Together with the Vextheri and our new allies, we can guide them toward their own transformations." The void avatars, once their greatest threat, now served as proof that evolution didn't have to mean conflict. The universe was vast enough for many types of consciousness to coexist, each playing its part in the cosmic dance. As Earth's skies cleared, revealing stars that humanity could now see in entirely new ways, Reyna felt a deep sense of completion. The hidden protocol in their DNA had led them not to victory in some cosmic war, but to understanding that transcended the very concept of conflict. The day humanity's DNA sent shockwaves through the galaxy had become the day they helped the galaxy itself evolve. And somewhere, in whatever realm ascended beings might exist, the architect's ancient gamble had finally paid off. Humanity, the Vextheri, and the transformed void avatars now stood together at the dawn of a new era. The future held infinite possibilities, and they would explore them not as separate species, but as parts of a greater whole, united in their diversity, stronger in their differences. The transformation was complete, but the real journey was just beginning.